And welcome to the channel, and welcome to a very special Ultimate Racing League. This is the final race of what seems to be a very long Sunday season, but we've made it to the end. We're with the League of Champions in what has turned out to be a very tense battle for the title, but we'll chat about that more in a minute. We're in France. We are at the Circuit de la Sarthe, or as everybody calls it, Le Mans, and I keep saying we because I am joined by a special guest, a fellow commentator, a League of Champions racer himself, and that is Paul. Hello, Paul.
Yeah, hi Mark, good to be back, mate.
Good, it's good to have you. So yeah, Paul's going to be helping me go through this one. It is, as you can see, if you're looking at the screen already, it is a 13 lap race around this 8.4 mile track. Did a little bit of research on this one as well, Paul. I don't know if you've noticed it yourself, but it says there's 38 turns on this track, and I can only find a map showing 29 of them, but 38 turns.
Well, I was in this league, obviously, as you mentioned. It felt like 138 to me, but yeah, that's what you...
It absolutely does. Oh, we've got somebody watching. Well, whoever it is that's watching, can you just let us know if you can hear us okay? I've just had a message pop up, and he says, yeah, they can hear us. So sorry about all that. We're just having some technical issues, and we were getting a bit worried that nobody could hear us, but they can. So I think we're all good to go, Paul. Yeah. So as I say, final race of the season. Now, I did want to just go through, leading up into this race, I just want to very quickly go through the top 5 and the bottom 5. So the bottom 5 as it sits: Paul, yourself, you're in 12th. Inca Holmes is in 13th. Sideways is 14th. Moz is 15th, and Seamus Cass is 16th, with just 21 points separating all 5. And top of the table, we've got Toby on 270 points, Bailey 251, Neil Farmack 237, Derview on 213, and Toten on 193. So it is so close at the top and at the bottom. Now we have got some news. Bailey, who is currently second in the championship, is missing, and we've been told by the press officer that he's been escorted from the track because he was caught trying to loosen the centre wheel nuts on Toby's car just before qualifying. So Bailey will not be taking part in this race, which has kind of scuppered his chances of winning the championship. All exciting stuff, Paul. All exciting stuff.
Well, if it wasn't him, I'm sure one of the other guys would have done it. So I thought Bailey got found out. So
yeah, so
he can take the rap for it, I guess.
Yeah, so Bailey is out. He's been asked to leave the premises and he's gone. So it is up for grabs there. So what we'll do is we will get these guys up and rolling. We're going to have a chat through the tyres, etc. as we go along. So I'm just going to hit that. Do you know what? No, I won't. I'm going to go down the grid order, shall I? I'll do that first. Getting all exciting. Idle Gaming, evening, Darren. So in pole position, we've got Callum. In second, we've got our current championship leader, Toby. Kenny's third. Inky is fourth. Fifth on the grid is Grasshopper. Derview is in sixth. Fitzy seventh. Neil Farmack is in eighth. Smith is ninth. Yourself, Paul, 10th on the grid. Toten 11th. Osman is 12th, and Sideways George 13th. So a fantastic turnout for this final race. So now we can get the guys off and running. It's going to be an interesting race, this one. It all comes down to tactics, tyres. How did you find the tyres, Paul, after the update?
It wasn't too bad, Mark, to be fair. As usual, I'm not a strategy guy, so I didn't have anything really planned, so I just went for what I thought. But yeah, they weren't too bad, I didn't think, anyway.
Well, we can just see Toby is definitely on a mission as he tries to get his nose in front of Callum already as they're going under the Dunlop curve for the first time. Callum fighting Toby off. Kenny's in there as well. So this is going to be a fantastic fight as they go around the Tour Rouge. for the first time today. Let's just keep an eye on these front guys for now. Callum managing to stay in front. Toby pushing. Kenny is basically pushing Toby along. It is all going to come down to a lot of slipstreaming, a lot of fuel saving, tyre saving. We'll have a look at tyres in a minute, shall we? As they go down to the first of the chicanes. This is the Forza chicane, or if you want to get all French, I think it is L'Arche chicane.
Very nice.
We've got there's a few names actually I managed to find, but there we go. Let's just see, everybody's with us. Who's that picked up? Inky has picked up a penalty already. How did you find the track?
Well, I was going to say he picked it up just as you started the back straight. Actually, I see him go really wide. It's an easy place to pick up, but yeah, not one of my favourites. It's a bit like Monza in the sense that it's very easy to pick up penalties. Monza's another one where you've only got to sneeze on the curb and you'll get a penalty. So yeah, not one of my best, but you know, it is what it is. You have to run them. So
I did find it was quite easy to pick up penalties, as we were just watching Neil Farmer being taken by Smith there. Once you get into the slipstream, overtaking does become a lot easier, especially down this Mulsanne straight. The guys have just gone through the Michelin chicane and now down towards Mulsanne corner. This real tight right-hander at the end of this long straight. Incidentally, I found out that the stretch, the Mulsanne straight between the two chicanes is actually just over a mile long. So full throttle for 85% of this track. Be about right, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it certainly was.
So as we go down the order, Toten down in 12th. Toten, we know he's very quick. Oh, excuse me. I think you might have taken over for a minute. I'm about to choke.
Yeah, that's okay. So yeah, as they all come down, I haven't got the names, so I'll continue. I haven't got the names like you have, Mark. But as we're watching Osman being pressured by Toten, around this left hand, another tricky corner. You're coming down to a rate of knots. Getting it stopped there is challenging itself.
Oh dear, we've had a bit of an off. Let's just go back. Sorry about that, Paul. Just having a bit of a choking session as we go. So yeah, as we're getting into this Indianapolis turn is one that catches a lot of people out, and the one just coming up to now on Arge is another tricky one. Oh, and it's Toby that's gone spinning out, our race leader. And now, shall we have another look and see what happened? Let's go. Now let's just have a look. Yeah, great. We are heard. Ian's just popped up and said we're hearing. So we're on board with Toby. He's in front. Now we're just going around in Ebelis. Dirk tries to go up the inside. Kenny's sitting there in third. Callum's coming up in between the two of them. Now, was there a nudge as we enter? Oh, there was. No, I'm not pointing fingers, but I think that was Dirk's fault.
I'm glad you said that. No, it was certainly, it was a little bit like a domino effect there.
I think it was. It was just a case of trying to slow down, get them cars slowed down enough. Well, it's a safety car. It's a safety car called. Not what you want on this track, but the right thing to do, I think.
Well, we saved our tyres for a little bit, and the safety car not, to be fair.
Absolutely.
You did save your fuel and your tyres for.
So what we'll do, yeah, it was. We've just had it on the radio. I've just been told via the radio that it was a brake failure in Derview's car. So whether he'll come into the pits to get that checked, or it's something that the nanobots can sort out. But I'll tell you what we'll do, Paul, while they're having the safety car roll around, we'll go through the tyres. So Callum's on softs, Dirk also on the softs, Fitzy on the mediums, Grasshopper on the softs, Inky also soft, Smith has gone for mediums, that's Neil Farmack, yourself went for softs, Toby softs, Osman mediums, and Toten, the first one to be on hards. Sideways George and Kenny also on the soft. So quite a mixture there, but only Toten going for the hards.
Yeah, I'm not sure actually how many laps he actually done. Obviously, you only have to have a maximum of 2 if you want to. Obviously, you can run longer than that, but Yeah, I'm not sure how many he actually done, whether he just did the 2 and then came in, or whether he had a longer stint on them. I'm not sure, but yeah, looks like he's the only one out there with hards on.
Yeah, and as I say, you do only have to do 2 laps on hards. I mean, I think the mediums is a good call. I did that myself. I went on mediums. Obviously, I'm nowhere near as quick as you guys in the League of Champions, but I got 8 laps out of my medium tyres, and I ended up 3rd. So I think it'd be interesting to see how you guys get on with the softs. Where did you get to? About lap 4, something like that, 5?
We'll see, shall we? I can't even remember, Mark. If I'm honest, I was too busy looking forward. I didn't bother looking at what the.
You didn't look at what everybody else is doing.
To be fair.
Okay, so it's through the S's then for the second time. Callum out in front, Dogu second, Fitzy third, Grasshopper fourth, Smith in 5th. Then we've got Inky, Neil Farmack, yourself in 8th, Toby all the way down to 9th. That he's definitely going to have to be on a charge now if he wants to win this championship. As you can see, Toby just getting by yourself there in the slipstream.
He had a great run out of that last corner. To be fair, I see him on the radar coming, and I was standing still.
It's a very tricky turn 8, the Tetri Rouge. Very easy to pick up a penalty there, as you know. You can drift out to the left, but as soon as you do, you're onto this small sound straight through the first chicane, the Forza chicane, and then, as I said earlier, you've got this 1.04 miles to be exact of straight before you hit the next chicane. So a lot of slipstreaming to be had here, and as you can see, Toby already tucking underneath Neil Farmack. Let's just go on board with Toby, shall we? He's tucking it now. Remember, no bump drafting allowed officially. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but officially it's not allowed. So Toby does have to pull out, or pull to the inside, shall I say, trying to get it stopped through this chicane. And it looks like he's got it done. And it looks like Neil and yourself, teammates, you and Neil.
Yeah, I think right? Neil had a bit of a moment, actually. I got past him there through the chicane, but I think he had a small twitch or a little moment somewhere, and that's why.
And Neil, as I say, I think he's currently sitting 3rd leading into this race, so he'll be looking to try and get as many points as he can on the board. Remember Bailey is missing because of the accusation of sabotaging Toby's car, so all
accusation.
All points are up for grabs then. So let's just go back up to the top, and it's Grasshopper now that's taken the lead. So that must have been a move done on the straight. Everybody's still quite close together, which is great to see. We can see a lot of hustle and bustle going on in the background. Dirk in 3rd. Now this is the Indianapolis turn where it all kicked off in lap 1 as they come up to Arnage. This tight right-hander. Derg's in the mix again, but everybody gets around nice and safely, 2x2 actually. It's like they're entering the arc. Where's Toby? Toby is 5th at the minute. Now who's that? Oh, just had a penalty, or is it just served? I think it might have been Fitzy, was it?
Possibly. Yeah, possibly.
Now Fitzy looks like he's on a bit of a charge as well. He's moved himself up into 4th. Toby 5th, Inky 6th, Smith 7th. Oh, it's Smith who's got a penalty as well. You did mention it, Paul. This track does like to throw out the penalties, doesn't it?
It's very easy. You think? To be fair, I only got 1 out of the whole race, which I thought was quite good. However, I actually don't know where else to pick it up. So that's how easy it is to get them. You don't actually know where you're picking them up at a lot of the time. But
no, there's a couple of easy spots, but I think, I say, the turn 8, the Tetra Rouge, that's an easy one to pick up. But I think going into the chicanes, it doesn't matter how careful you are, you can pick them up there, no problem at all. But it is what it is. And who's that? Neil Farmack has picked up a 1 second penalty, so maybe he just didn't bother with the forward chicane and drove straight across it to pick that up. We won't go back and find it. It's going to take about an hour to do this race.
Either that, or he had a half a second already and then picked up another half a second.
Good point. Yeah, good point.
Two half a second penalties back to back or something. And
he may well have done that. Well, while we're just watching these guys, there's a couple of thank yous I want to do. I should have done them at the top of this, but I'm going to do them now. We do want to thank our sponsors, Dubby, the energy drink for gamers, and also EAC, Eldridge Air Conditioning. As I say, they've been sponsoring us this season, so many thanks to those guys. I also want to say thanks to Alistair, who does all the points for all of the leagues. And without him we wouldn't know where we were, so big thanks to him, and also the host Osman. If he didn't host it, again, nobody could actually race, and it's between Osman and Dirk that have been sharing them as well, so just a big thanks to them. Also the stewards, they've done a fantastic job this season, and basically all the guys in admin as well that help keep URL going. So personally, I just want to say a big thanks to every one of them.
I echo that, mate. I echo that.
Yeah, so it does take a lot of effort to bring these races. So yeah, much appreciated too. Now, as we're watching, Toby has got himself up into second. Remember, Toby is going for the actual championship. He's got Callum tucked right underneath him. Callum's had to pull out now. He's he got in the slipstream. Fitzy's pulled out as well now. Is it going to be 3 wide as they're going down towards Mulsanne corner? This is going to be interesting to see who twitches first. It looks like Fitzy's got his nose in front. Toby then slots into third with Callum in fourth. A bit of bumper kissing going on as the guys try and slow them cars down. Inky's in there in fifth with Dirk just behind in sixth. Everybody looks like they've got through there safely this time. And it is back down foot on the noisy pedal as they head down towards the Indianapolis turn and on Arch, which is what's caused a lot of issues so far. It just seems to be this one particular turn, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, of course, this is all helping Grasshopper out, and that's good timing there, Mark. Yeah. He's getting away from the rest of them now after they're all fighting and swapping places behind him. He's letting them getting away.
Oh, and it's just, it was, see, what did we say? It's this Indianapolis turn that's caused it was causing issues in the League 4s. It caused issues for us in League 1. As you can see, Dirk there, he just couldn't get it slowed down. I think he tried to avoid contact, to be fair to him. And then he's back up. Oh, that was a bit naughty, but
well, it's that brake failure. If he's got issues with his brake, then maybe it's just affecting him on that corner.
Absolutely, and then the dirty tyres, and you can see the back end wants to come round on him, so he's going to have to try and clean them. Neil Farmack just serving a penalty, but poor old Dirk now down to 12th. Toten way back in 13th, but
on the hard tyres, though, wasn't he? Well, I assume he's still on the hard tyres, and he hasn't been in.
Toten's on the hard tyres. Yeah, Greg saying that Dirk hasn't hosted. No, I was saying thanks for doing the points. It was Osman that did the hosting.
Can I just pick up on that point? Funny enough.
Yeah, of course you can, mate. Yeah, go for it.
On the Dirk, and thanks for the points. What I'd like to say is I don't know what he done with my 20 quid that I gave him, because I wanted him to alter some of the points, make me a little bit higher. But maybe next time I'll have to give him 40 quid.
I think
obviously that didn't happen. Obviously.
I think the bribe started at around the 50 quid mark, so I think you were a bit under. So okay. He probably did. He just pocketed that, and he didn't even register
I didn't get that memo then, did I? Yeah.
But Toten, now Toten, this is his third lap. He stayed out. He's going to come up to the Dunlop curve now for the third time. So maybe Toten's going to go deep into this race on the hard tyres. He's just biding his time. He can just see the back end of the pack ahead of him. We do know Toten is quick. He's won championships before. Yeah. So, I think he might just be going a lot further into this race on the hards. Remember, it is a minimum of 2 laps for the hard tyres. So, Toten's obviously decided he's going to do a bit more than that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what his strategy is. He's obviously, well, I'd imagine once he comes in, he'll be going straight onto those soft tyres, and then whether it's going to be soft all the way to the end, who knows? But it'll be interesting to see where he ends up. Yeah,
it depends when he comes in. Now, I would imagine the guys on the soft tyres are going to start wanting to come in probably towards the end of this lap, maybe next lap, as we see Grasshopper. I'm just looking at his tyres. Excuse me again. They're at what, about 50% on the front left?
Yeah, just about.
Toby is going to be about the same. Fuel is not too bad. I found that it was the first part of the race it was the tyres that were the problem, and the second part of the race it was the fuel. So yeah, it's going to be great to see. Yeah, definitely, Greg, an unsafe rejoin from Derg. And Derg's already admitted it, unsafe rejoin. Wasn't his finest hour, I'm sure he will admit, as Fitzy tries to chase Toby down. I think Toby, he'll be quite happy to let Grasshopper just lead the way at the minute. If he can get into the slipstream as well, the pair of them can try and work together. Remember, no bump drafting, but excuse me, if Grasshopper can just cut through the air a little bit, make it easier for Toby. Fitzy still sitting in third. He's had a great season, Fitzy has, hasn't he?
He is actually, yeah. He's another really quick driver. He's
Fitzy. Yeah, he's a future teammate of mine. So bias, I know, but I'm rooting for Fitzy from now on.
Very quick.
I just had a little note pop up there, something about Derg pitting early. Callum in fourth. Remember, he started on pole position. There was quite a bit of hustle and bustle the first lap and a half. So Callum now down in fourth. I think this is now where tyre management comes in. I found myself, Paul, that since the update, the tyre issue has been sorted. It seems to be that the grip starts to disappear when you get to around about 50 to 60%. And,
yeah, I agree.
There used to be the red tyre rule. Well, there still is the red tyre rule that you cannot do more than one full lap on red tyres, but I don't think you'd actually do it anymore.
I think you'd spin the first corner you got to, if I'm honest.
Yeah, as we're just watching yourself get by Inky there to take up fifth. So far having a great race from yourself.
Don't speak too soon.
Up into fifth. Inky in sixth. Remember, Inky is in the bottom five as well, so he is fighting to stay up along with yourself. Sideways is Sideways not here, is he? Yes, he is. Sorry,
yes, he is.
It's Seamus Cash. Seamus Cash.
It's not.
Yeah, it's Seamus Cash that's not here. So yeah, who's going to be the first to blink then and come into the pits as we come towards the end of lap 4? You can just about see the pit lane on the right hand side there, just before they enter the Ford chicane. But everybody looks like they've stayed out.
Derg's
so
in.
that, yeah. Oh no, Derg's in. So Derg has decided he's on racing softs at the minute. So let's see if he puts them back on again, or is he going to go for the hards and try and see it to the end of the race. We're only on lap 4 though, so I don't know. I think it's possible to get 8 laps out of hard tyres. It's more the fuel than anything.
Yeah, I think so too.
As we said, so
I'd imagine he'll put a little bit, some fuel in, if not
yeah. I don't know. I don't want to stay in the pit too long with Derg. He is filling up, so we'll come back to Derg. So out in front, Grasshopper looking quite comfortable at the minute. Fitzy's managed to get by Toby. So Fitzy now up into second. And he's got a couple of car lengths back to Toby, but Toby definitely in the slipstream as they hit the first chicane, the Forza chicane. Very easy to pick a penalty up there as Toby seemed to get a bit out of sorts there. He got a little bit out of shape.
Drifting it through there, wasn't he?
He was drifting it, so that'll be your tyres. Now, Fitzy's on the medium, so obviously his tyres are in a lot better shape. Toby, you can see now, especially the left-hand side. With this being a clockwise track, it's the left-hand side that takes most of the punishment, and you can see it starting to show now on Toby's front left especially. I would say, what's that, 70% worn? So
yeah,
he's
not a little bit more.
Yeah, he's going to start losing the grip now, but he's still in there. He's in third position at the minute. We've got Callum just behind, coming into view. Then yourself in fifth. Inky with a 1 second penalty, just behind in sixth. Excuse me. Everybody spreading out a little bit, but it's quite encouraging to see this many cars all together still, as Inky tries to go up the inside through the Mulsanne corner. very easy again to drift out there to the left, isn't it? But you guys managed to stay on track. I would imagine at this point, Paul, you're just sitting there looking at Inky thinking, well, I've only got to stick with him.
Exactly. Well, what I could see, Mark, if I'm honest, like everybody else, is I can see you 1 second above his car there. I'm thinking, well, that's going to be coming off in a sec. I don't really need to pass him because I'll be going past him anyway, so I might as well just stay behind.
Absolutely.
And make an easier pass of it, really, when it comes to it. So,
no point.
I picked up half a second there, so there you go.
Yeah, well, that's unfortunate, but there's no point fighting and wearing your tyres out. Oh, well, that looked like the back end was complaining a little bit there. But there we go. Inky serves his penalty. Paul goes by, although you've got that half a second yourself. Again, at Indianapolis, that corner seems to be causing so many problems.
Yeah, I think it was, as I say, that was the only penalty I got all race, I believe. And I think what it was, as you come around that really fast right-hander, I think if you go a bit too wide there, you can actually pick up the penalty, and I think I just went a little bit too hot in there. Yes,
you can. I think you're right. It's just before you hit the Indianapolis turn. Yeah. It's the bit on the right. There's a curb, and I think if you try and cut the curb, you're actually going outside the track limits. Yeah. It's a bit of a sneaky one, but you know, we all know it's there, I suppose. So we've got Smith down in 8th, then we've got Osman, Neil Farmack down in 10th, Sideways 11th, Toten in 12th. He's still out there on the hard tyres.
But look at him, Mark. Look how much life is still in him. So is he playing? Is he playing the game here?
Yeah, it's the fuel, I think, that's going to be the thing for Toten as he goes through the Ford chicane. So he's going to stay out, is he? I think he is, yeah. So Toten's, yeah, I think he is. He's playing the long game, maybe doing a bit of fuel saving. And then we've got Dirk in 13th, Toten's teammate, having made his pit stop already, and he's now on the hard tyres. So Dirk, a bit of catching up to do, but the guys in front of him have all got a pit. As we see Fitzy. Now Fitzy's getting a lot closer to Grasshopper. So Grasshopper on the softs, you can see the front left is about gone. So he's really going to be fighting that car now.
I think he takes him down here at the chicane, Mark, actually. Sorry to interrupt. I think Fitzy has a go down here on Grasshopper, I believe. I could see back where I was anyway.
He must do. There he goes. Yeah. And it's quite an easy overtake. They hit the Forza chicane, hard on the brakes. Fitzy's got the better tyres. He's going to have more grip. And Grasshopper doing everything he can just to keep the car facing in the right direction, I think. So fantastic move for Fitzy. Although Grasshopper now can pick up the slipstream, and is he going to try and make a move on Fitzy and regain that first position just before they get to the Michelin chicane?
Like it.
He has pulled alongside, hasn't he? But remember, Grasshopper has got hardly any grip at all.
You're going to get it stopped.
He did well there, Grasshopper. I'm not sure if he might have picked a penalty up there, but Fitzy got a fantastic exit and has managed to cut back again. Oh, a bit of a touch there, but nothing too serious. But this is great racing between these two guys. Grasshopper again trying to just slot in to the slipstream of Fitzy as they head down towards the Mulsanne corner. This is the one where Grasshopper might struggle.
Fitzy's fuel's flashing as well, so he's not sure how many laps he's got left on that, but he might be coming in maybe.
He's going to have to come in, isn't it? It's a shame as well because his tyres have got at least another 2 laps out of them, I think. But currently Fitzy in front. He's got Grasshopper pushing him along practically, but Grasshopper, well, I think he's doing well to keep it on track. Looking at the tread as he pulls alongside Fitzy down towards Indianapolis. This is where the problems are all occurring, but those two guys got through there okay, as does Toby. Callum in 4th. Oh, Toby kicking up a bit of the kitty litter, maybe trying to blind Callum, I don't know. So I think there's going to be a flurry of cars coming into the pits at the end of this lap, Paul. There you are, just about to serve the penalty.
Oh, yeah.
Then we've got Kenny D in 6th, Smith in 7th, Inky 8th, Excuse me, you were going to say something?
No, I was going to say, Kenny's another one, Mark, who's quick. Looks very quick once he's out there. He's very quick as well.
Yeah, Kenny. I think I'm right in saying Kenny was promoted this last season into the League of Champions. So Kenny's having a good battle. Been a little bit of lag going on there, but that's not Kenny's fault. I think he's suffered quite a lot with lag, but also with his light flashing. So I don't think he's going to get another lap out of it. So I would imagine there's going to be quite a few cars diving into the pits as we see Fitzy's come in. You're quite right. Grasshopper's come in. He's had to go in there. Callum has stayed out, has he? Yes, he has. Callum stayed out. Now then, that's going to be interesting because if you look at his tyres, the front left are as bad as Grasshopper's, but we've got Fitzy, Grasshopper, Toby, Paul, Kenny's in, Inky's in. We thought there'd be quite a few guys coming in. Sideways has come in. All the guys with the soft tyres are all in. Now, the one guy I'm looking for, Toten. Toten moves up into 5th. Remember Toten on the hard tyres? He was quite happy, just sat at the back, biding his own business. He's now up into 5th.
I imagine what he's trying to do here, Mark, is he's going to try and get as big a gap behind him as he possibly can. Try and almost get a quali lap in, although obviously the tyres are not quite, but there's still a lot of tread on there. So try and get a quali lap in, try and get that gap bigger, and then come in, and then hopefully come back out in front of them. But
yeah, I think you're right, Paul. I think that's his plan. Open up a big enough gap to get in, get back out again. Maybe get out, say, in the middle there, 6th, 7th, something like that. And if he can come out on the soft tyres, maybe 4 or 5 laps on the soft tyres, so he can do some catching up. But that's what we think is happening. It's not necessarily what's happening. But up to our current race leader, Callum, with a half-second penalty. That's not, I don't think, going to affect his track position because it does look like Smith is a little bit further back. So both of these guys are to pit. Smith tyres looking a lot better than Callum's. Callum is he's running on fumes.
Yeah, I mean, I think he obviously thought, well, he obviously knows that he can get another lap out of that tyre on that front left particularly, but I'm not sure I would have risked it, if I'm honest.
No, it's he's pushing, but then Callum, he's a good driver, is Callum. I believe he actually uses controller as well, which is quite punishing on the tyres. I think if I remember Toten telling me, another pad driver, that they do punish the tyres.
Well, I'm a pad as well, aren't I, Mike? So, Marcus. So, So
that's right.
It does. So.
Yeah, and you've come back out. You're on the hard, so your tactics obviously are to see the rest of this race out. Oh no, have you got to pit again for fuel?
Yes. Well, yeah.
So yours was a 2-stop.
So I've just done the 2. I'm just going to do the 2 laps on the hard tyres. So I've got enough fuel to do them, and then when I go in for my stop, put my softs on, I'll be fueling up then. Yeah,
I'm with you now. So let's just go. I'll tell you what we'll do. Go back up to the top then. So we can see Callum's just picked up a penalty. I would imagine that's struggling to keep on track. So Callum, who is definitely going to have to pit. Now I'm just looking in the background. If the cameraman stays there long enough, there we just see Smith. Come round the corner there and go through, head towards the Porsche S's or the Porsche curves. So Callum will definitely come in. Smith, I think Smith's going to have to follow him as well, more for fuel.
Yeah, for the fuel, isn't it? Yeah.
We've got Osman again, another guy. He's going to have to come in as well. Brisbane saying he came in like a wrecking ball. Yeah. So Osman is definitely going to have to pit. Neil Farmer, I think he could get another lap out of them tyres, maybe even the fuel as well. I'm not sure.
I think Neil had a bit of. You'll have to keep one eye on Neil throughout this race. He was over the chat saying that he was having issues with his wheel, I think, or his pedals or something. So he wasn't entirely happy out there.
No, it's terrible when you get the technical issues kicking in that spoils your race. Nothing you're doing personally. But there we can see the top 3 straight into the pits as we predicted. We'll have a look and see what tyres they put on. Toten's now decided to come in.
And as you predicted, Neil's going to have another lap.
I thought, yeah, Neil is going to have another lap. Yeah, we just said that, didn't we? That we thought he'd get another lap out of it. So Neil Farmack now takes up the lead. And I think he's going to do the same as we thought with Toten. He's going to try and get as much distance as he can between himself and Callum.
And he's on the medium, so he's got more of a chance of getting a bigger gap. And he's got a nice gap at the moment.
Yeah, he'll get a decent lap in there. Fitzy as well, he's in. So Kenny, he's stayed out. He's going through the forward chicane. So Kenny might gain a place or two. He does, up to 6. You can see on the left there that it's quite a frenzy in the pit lane, but I think everybody's sorted out now. We've still got Toten and Fitzy in there, so let's have a look. Toten, I would imagine he's going to be on the softs.
He is, yeah.
Yeah, and Dirk saying with his brake failure, it was more operator than machinery. Well, you shouldn't have said anything, Dirk. We were blaming it on the car,
but you shouldn't have admitted that. But okay, fair play to you.
Yeah, fair play to him. Yeah. I think I'd have blamed the car, and but there you go. Well. So let's have a look at the order now. So Neil Farmack, our current race leader, definitely will have to pit at the end of this lap, although he has got quite a gap now.
Nice
He's already gone through the Forza chicane, heading down the Mulsanne straight to the Michelin chicane as Toby now approaches the Forza chicane. So there is just under a mile between them, we know that.
Between the two chicanes, yeah.
Toby on the hards, yourself on the hards as well, now up into third, just tucking yourself up on between behind Toby, so you're going to be picking up the slipstream. Now, do you make a move? Are you going to tell us, or are we going to wait and see as you pull to the inside?
Wait and see, so I can't actually remember.
Oh,
no, I didn't do it. No,
just backed out. Yeah, just backed out as we go through the Michelin chicane. What probably a wise decision. It's a tough chicane to go too wide in there. Grasshopper, all the while, Grasshopper sitting there in fourth, watching what's happening in front, hoping that you two are going to make a mistake and have a come together.
Well, it's guaranteed I'm going to make a mistake, Mark. I'm sure you know that. I'm not so sure about Toby, but yeah, it's guaranteed I'm going to make a mistake somewhere.
Well, we can just see you following Toby into the Mulsanne corner. Both of you get round there on the hard tyres as well. You can see Grasshopper. He's on the hards as well, but he does seem to be catching. But then again, he will do. If you two are battling away, it's going to slow you down. We know that. So Paul there pulling alongside Toby, got in the slipstream. Let's have a look. So Paul now up into second. Toby has to slot in behind as they head down towards the Indianapolis, which has caused so many problems, especially in the early part of this race. Here we go, the left-hander through there successfully. Yes. Up to on Arge. Again, another tricky one. This tight right-hander, you really have to get down first, second gear for that one. But both through there nice and easy. So as we've seen, Neil Farmack is definitely going to have to pit, and I think, I mean, what's the pit? It's about 50 seconds, isn't it?
He's going to be taking fuel and tyres, obviously, so yeah, he's going to be in there for
that's if he makes it. I can just look in it. I think he will.
The marshals are getting ready to push him, aren't they?
Yeah, I think he can free. There's his fuel gone, but he's just made it now. He'll tell you that's good calculating. And yeah, I'll agree with him. Fantastic calculating from Neil. But that does mean that Paul, as he comes through to take the lead down towards past the pit entry and down. Oh no, you've decided to come in as well. Oh, this is your two laps. This is your 2 laps on the hard. So it's Toby then that goes through the forward chicane, and he's going to take up the race lead again.
Now, Mark, going back to Neil, I remember, I think I recall again over the chat that he was having troubles with the pit, in the sense that there was something about him, it wasn't allowing him to change the tyres or something. I believe there was something that wasn't quite right. So you have to keep a check on Neil. So he's still got his old tyres on.
He's still got the mediums.
So he'd done his fuel, but it didn't allow him to change his tyres. I don't know whether all the guys are just asleep.
Now, do you think he'd had a fallout with the pit crew and they just refused to change his tyres?
Yeah, could be.
So, well, that's a shame for Neil then, because those tyres, I don't know what we got, like four laps to go.
Well, he's going to have to make a stop that he didn't really plan on doing, isn't he?
Yeah,
really.
He's definitely going to need some new boots on before the end of the race, I'm sure. But we'll keep an eye on Neil, because that's an interesting one. He's currently in 4th. Excuse me. Let's just go. We'll go from the top down. So Toby, exactly where he wants to be if he wants to win this championship, and that's out in front with a decent gap behind him. He has got his teammate, his wingman, in second position. So if Grasshopper can hold off some of the other guys and allow Toby to get away. Although Callum now all over the back of Grasshopper.
The softs, and Grasshopper's on the hards. So.
Yeah, he's on the soft, so there's not a lot Grasshopper can do about that. He's just got to let Callum go and then try and slot in behind him. So down towards the Michelin chicane then for the 9th time. Callum in 2nd, Grasshopper 3rd. There we go. I've just had it through the radio that apparently Toby paid the pit crew not to change the tyres on Neil Farmack's car. So
be that then.
There's another allegation of bribery and corruption going on in this final race. I love it.
You know what? Instead of LOC League of Champions, League of Cheats. LOC. That's what it really stands for.
I love it because, as I say, Neil Farmack currently sitting in 3rd. So maybe Neil and Bailey are in cahoots. As we say, Bailey's not here. He was escorted away because he was caught trying to loosen the centre wheel on Toby's car, and now there is allegations that Neil Farmack's crew have been got at as well. So yeah, it's all good stuff. But Grasshopper currently sitting in 3rd. Then we've got Neil Farmack in 4th, but we think he's going to have to pit again. Smith in 5th. So Smith having a decent race. He suffered last week, if I remember rightly, at Nerb. Wasn't his greatest hour, shall we say. Toten in 6th. So Toten's tactics, I think they're starting to come together now. I think his planning is starting to come together. So Toten currently said, I'll tell you what, let's go on board with Toten, shall we, as we chase Smith.
Got the run on him.
Sorry?
Got the run on Smith, so could be a move.
He has definitely got the run on him, yeah. He's on the inside, and I think he's definitely going to get this one done, and he does. Now, these are a series of turns going from about 23 up to about 25, 26, and it is just left, right. It's quite a tricky part of the course. There's another section where it's easy to pick a penalty up if you drift too far to the right there. But Toten making it look so easy as he heads down towards the Ford chicane.
Neil's gone in, so Neil's had to come in.
Yeah, Neil's got it. So we scored it, didn't we? He said he was going to have to come in to change his tyres. He's want to get on the... Well, has he been on the hards, Neil? I can't remember. And you can see...
Yeah, I think he has.
Just as Toten crosses the line to take the fastest lap, a 3:57. So Toten really on a charge now, isn't he? And opening up a little bit of a gap back to Smith as we go through the Dunlop curve and then on to the S's. So that's Toten, and as I say, his plan really starting to come together. Smith in 5th. He's on the hard tyres, and they'll be with him now, I think, to the end of the race. Do you think?
Yes, I believe so.
Osman in 6th, also on the hards. They look quite fresh. There's hardly any wear on them, so Osman will probably stay out there. It just takes too long to pit, doesn't it?
Well, especially if you're into like your last 4 or 5 laps now, it's just not worth as you say, the time you're losing.
You're losing way too much time, aren't you, sitting in the pits waiting for your pit crew to wake up. But there's Osmond.
Or in Neil's case, they didn't, did they?
Oh, they didn't. No, they went on strike. So there we go. Kenny in 7th. Fitzy in 8th. Fitzy on the softs as well. So he's going to have Kenny on the hards. Oh, I'm getting a bit out of shape there. But Kenny on the hard, so Fitzy will definitely be trying to catch up to the back of Kenny, and it doesn't look like he's catching.
Fitzy, is his tyre going to last? That's the question. Or is he? I don't know if he's been on hard yet. Is he leaving the hards for the last couple?
No, I can't remember. I really ought to take note of who's on what. I always forget who's done what. When we have to do these tyre changes, I always forget.
He wasn't, was he? He'd been on the mediums. He started on the mediums, didn't he?
He did start on the mediums, that's right. So maybe,
yeah. Soft, so he's got to still run that hard. So I reckon running it to the last 2 and then using the hards at the end. Not going to get all these laps in them softs, I wouldn't have thought.
Well, I'm just looking at the gear changes, and Fitz is not he's not short shifting, so he may well be giving it the beans to try and catch up with Kenny before he does pit. So yeah, excuse me, it's going to be interesting to see what those guys do. Inky in 9th, he's on hard tyres now, he'll be there till the end. Then we've got yourself, Paul, in 10th. You're on the softs, and they're going to last you surely till the end of the race.
Catch up now, Mark. Just hoping. What I'm hoping now is either a few incidents or people coming in for their final stops or whatever, just to get me up that field. But
yeah, you can gain quite a few places, can't you? Only, like you say, you just need one off or somebody going into the pits, and you can catch up quite quickly.
Or penalties, yeah, absolutely.
Neil Formack, he's all the way down now in 11th. That extra pit really was not what he needed. As I say, coming into this race, he was currently in 3rd, so he will be fuming, I'm sure, in the cab of that Lexus. Then we've got Derg in 12th. Not been a fantastic day for Derg, but he's playing catch up as well at the minute. Currently in 12th, he's on the softs. And that should see him to the end of the race now. And then Sideways George out on the hard again. That should see him to the end of the race. So current leader Callum. Now Callum, he did come in, didn't he? His tyres were about shot it. So Callum came in. He's on to softs again. Has he used hard? He must have done.
I don't know. I don't think he did. I'm pretty sure he's doing a bit of a Fitzy. Well, I assume Fitzy was going to do that, but I'm sure he had the hards on at the end.
Because didn't he have this? Was it Callum who had this problem before? He forgot to come in and put hards on. I think it may have been Suzuka or something.
Yeah, we don't mention it to him much.
Do we not? Okay, well, I'm going to bring it up. So, yeah, he messed it up before, didn't he? And, and now, well, we're just going to have to keep an eye on this because we're on lap 11. So if he hasn't used the hards, he needs to pit at the end of this lap to get his 2 laps in. So
we'll see. Maybe I might have got that wrong. Keep a check on it, Mark.
Yeah, we will. We will definitely keep an eye on Callum, but he is out in front and he's got quite a healthy lead at the minute. Back to Toby. I'm sure Toby won't mind second position. Now the point system, I know it's 17 points for a second, but I'm not sure if they're doubled for endurance races. I did read or hear a rumour that points might be doubled for endurance races. So
you might be right. I think anyone listening, if they know the answer to that, then put it in the chat. But yeah, I think you're right.
I think we are there. So as you see, Toten making a move on Grasshopper. Grasshopper on the hard tyres, Toten on the soft. They are more warm, but they do say a worn soft tyre is better than a fresh hard. As Toten breezes past Grasshopper as they head down towards the Michelin chicane, and this is for the 11th time. As Toten hard on the brakes to get that car around there. And I think we've just had a message pop up from Dirk saying yes, it is double. So we will actually be going through the points and the final standings at the end of this race. So do hang around if you want to know who won and who is going to end up being relegated. So please stick around. As I say, we will be announcing all of that at the end of the race. So Toten up into third. Remember, he was sitting in last position, wasn't he, for the first 3-4 laps, and he really has played a blinder, I think Toten has, to get himself up into third. Grasshopper in fourth, although like we've said, he's now on the hard tyres, so he's going to struggle, I think, to keep up with Toten.
Of course, with Toten as well being in third, Mark, if we're right in what we're thinking, Callum coming in, he could possibly get himself to second.
Yes, of course, I forgot all about that with Callum. Now let's just have a look where Callum is. Callum has just gone through Arnage and underneath the Porsche sign, so he's making his way down towards the Porsche curves. Now we're thinking that he's going to come in at the end of this lap. If he didn't, then it may be a check of the tyres, but we shall see.
Sure he does, Mark. I'm pretty sure he does. And he does the last two on the hards. I'm pretty sure.
It's going to have to be at the end of this. So through the curves, through this section, turns 25, 6 and 7, as we come up towards the pit entry, which is on the right hand side. So if Callum stays to the right, which he would anyway, to go into the Ford chicane, but there we go, yeah, we're right. So Callum is now in to put the some hard boots on. So now it is Toby that is going to go through. Toby doesn't have to come in, he's already on the hards. Through the Ford chicane, he will go across the start finish line to start lap 12, and he will be back up into the lead, exactly where he wants to be for maximum points. I think Callum will get a point for fastest qualifying, I think. Not 100% sure, but I think it's right. He'll get some points for qualifying, but yeah, Toby needs to be up there in first position. So Toby out in front. Toten, as you said, Paul, moves up into second. So he has run a fantastic race. Toten has. He got his tactics spot on. He's just got to nurse them tyres now for the next 2 laps, including this one.
Well, I think looking at them as well, Mark, Toten's tyres and his fuel, I think he's just about done that right.
Yeah, as I say, maybe a little bit of nursing. Try and stay off the curbs as much as you can. But if anybody can do it, Toten can do it. We've got Grasshopper in third. He'll be pleased with that, I'm sure. I think if you'd have offered him third at the beginning of the race, he'd have took it.
Yeah, well, he was leading the race for a long time, wasn't he? And so he's been up there or thereabouts in that top 3 for, well, almost the entire race, pretty much. Yeah,
he's definitely been up there in the mix. Then we've got Smith. This is a much better showing from Smith. As I say, I'm pretty sure it was last week he was having a bit of a nightmare around the 24-hour layout on the Nürburgring and sorry, on the GP circuit, wasn't it? And he was having a bit of a nightmare there. But this is a much better showing from Smith. This is where we normally see him, up there at the pointy end of the race.
Yeah.
Osman in 5th on, well, it looks like a decent set of hard tyres, so he's got no problem making it to the end. Fitzy's got a bit of nursing to do, I think. Try and get them tyres back. We've got the rest of this lap and one more after, and the front left is starting to show.
Similar to Toten. I think it's similar to what Toten's got as well, to be fair.
You start losing a bit of grip, and with it being a front tyre as well, the steering's going to be a bit more difficult. I'm just going to have a look and see if no, I was going to have a look to see if Toby's anywhere near the start finish, and he's not. Now, who's that at the back? It's sideways. Now, whether he's had a moment or not, or a pit stop, but everybody seems quite bunched up except for sideways all the way back.
He's on the hard tyres. I'm wondering whether he's come in, and
I think he might have. I think he might have made a stop, and that's what's put him a bit further back. But everybody else, if you look at the top right, look at the map at the top right, everybody else is pretty reasonably close together, to be fair. I thought they'd be a lot more spread out than they are, so it just shows this is what the League of Champions is all about and what we expect. As Toby leads the way with Toten. I think Toten's catching. I think he's got a bit, there's a bit much for him to do to take the win, but I think he's definitely catching. I think he's going to be concentrating. Sorry?
If anyone can, he can.
Well, he can, but I think he's going to be concentrating more on his tyres, I think, than trying to get onto the back of Toby. But we shall see. We shall see. I was going to go on board with... I think we will. We'll go on board with Toby, shall we, for the majority of his last lap. Hello, Jonathan. Glad you could join us. So, Toby, through the Ford chicane then. Let's have a look. Oh, that's me. I'm getting it all wrong now. Look, there we go. So, across the start-finish line goes Toby for the 13th and final time. We can just about make Toten in the background. So, we'll stay with Toby for a few laps as we see Fitzy has come into the pits.
Okay, so he wasn't, well, we weren't sure, were we, whether he was going to manage it or not, but clearly, no. Whether that's a fuel thing, whether it was just a splash and dash. He
obviously felt the need to get in, and well, he's either going to change the tyres, like you say, or some fuel. We'll have a look in a minute. We're just going to follow Toby on his almost victory lap of this race. We'll just do a few. We'll get him onto the Mulsanne straight, and then we'll go down the order with it being the 13th lap. Well, you know what? I think Toten is getting closer, but I don't think he's going to get close enough unless Toby makes a mistake. This is going to be an interesting run-in, isn't it? We'll quickly go down so we can come back up to these guys. So Grasshopper in third, Smith in fourth, Osman fifth, Kenny D is in sixth, and he's got a half-second penalty as well. Callum in seventh after his stop. He is on the hard tyres now, as you said. Paul in eighth, Neil Farmack ninth, again carrying a penalty. So that'll allow Derg through, if Derg can just sit with him. So Derg will take that ninth spot away from Neil. So Neil slipping down the order and losing points all the time. Fitzy, who we've just seen has come in, he's now out on the hard tyres.
We did change tyres, but it didn't look like he'd done any fuel. So that's a...
No, he obviously knows he's got enough to get there. And then sideways in 12th. So we are back up to the current race leader. Toby is also the current championship leader. So this really isn't going to hurt his cause, is it? So if it stays like this, then I would say Toby has won this championship. But as I say, we will go through the final league standings at the end of the race. So if you can hang around for another few minutes afterwards. And Toten, it doesn't look like Toten's catching.
I think he is catching. Too late, I think. Yeah, I think.
And he's maybe got to do a little bit of fuel saving as well. Say,
yeah, damn, yeah.
As we go through the Indianapolis left-hander for the final time. Oh, Toby just tickling that kitty litter on the right-hand side. Through Onage safely. And heading up towards the Porsche curves. You can just see the other guys, Grasshopper and Smith, just coming round the corner. Let's have a look, everybody there. Osman, he's going to have to serve his penalty. There he goes. I think somebody else had a penalty as well. It was Kenny. He's going to have to serve his penalty. And I think there was somebody else, wasn't there?
Callum was as well. So both Kenny and Callum was...
they've both had to serve penalties. Oh, that's you having a bit of a moment there.
Yeah.
And then Derg should he's managed to get by Neil Farmack anyway. I'm going to go back up to our race leader Toby as he approaches the Ford chicane for the last time, and it is going to be Toby that takes the win on this 10th and final week. So well done to Toby, a fantastic result for him. Toten played an absolute blinder to come in second, really got his tactics right. Grasshopper just takes third podium spot ahead of Smith.
You've got to watch Callum.
Osman in fifth. Then we've got Kenny and Callum both battling it out. Callum really pushing. Oh, now then. Well, yes, I don't know what to make of that. Let's just have a look from Callum's point of view. So through the chicane, and well, I don't know. I think Kenny sort of drifted across, but
yeah, I think Callum ran the curbs high, but then, as you say, I think the back end came around on Kenny, and Callum had nowhere to go. Maybe
I think I'll put that down to a racing incident. I think now Kenny has pulled up. Now, has he pulled up to let Callum cross the line? I think he has. Callum's struggling to get across the line. If they don't hurry up, Dirk's going to come through. Oh, that was close. So that was close. So I'm just going to go back a little bit just so we can follow the other guys in. Osman came in fifth. We just saw Kenny and Callum having a bit of a coming together there. And I'm trying to see whether you managed to get by them. And I'm just going to have a look. So you did. So Paul came in seventh. Callum just ahead of Derg, who takes eighth. Derg ninth. Neil 10th. Fitzy 11th. And Sideways is going to bring it home in 12th position. So what a fantastic race that was here in France. And as promised, excuse me, we are now going to run through the final league standings. So I'll start at the bottom. I'm going to do the bottom five so we know who is going to drop down into League One. So in 16th position, and this is the final standings. So in 16th position is Seamus Cash on 63 points. Moz is in 15th on 67, and Inca Holmes is in 14th on 80 points. So the three guys dropping into League One will be Seamus, Cass, Moz and Inca. Sideways George is in 13th, and yourself Paul is in 12th. Now at the top, so in 5th, the final standings are in 5th position is Smith on 211 points. In 4th is Totem. After a blinding race today, he finishes on 228 points, which means the top three are Neil Farmack in 3rd on 237 points. Bailey, who was missing for today's race, is on 251 points, but the champion of the League of Champions is Toby on 286, and after the display today, thoroughly deserved. So well done to Toby, the championship winner. Well done to everybody in the League of Champions. It's been an absolute pleasure commentating on the racing for you guys this season. Fantastic racing right from week one all the way through to this one. So thank you for letting me do it. And Paul, I shall give you the final word.
Thanks, Mark, for also doing them on our behalf. And I absolutely enjoyed it out there. I wasn't too sure about it at the start of the season in that League of Champions. I didn't think I was worthy to be in there. I absolutely enjoyed it in the end, really real good times throughout.
Well, it is. I think you do deserve to be in there, as does everybody else. You can see the quality of driving from top to bottom. So well done, all the guys. Really looking forward to next season. I will actually, I think, be commentating on League 4 next season, and Firepower will be looking after you guys in the League of Champions. So he's you know how good Ian is, and he'll do a great job for you. So thank you very much to everybody. Thanks for everybody for watching. If you do like these things, remember, do hit the like button, and if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. It does help. And I do want to say a massive thank you to everybody that has already subscribed. It really does mean a lot, and I appreciate it. And I shall catch you all very soon.